I think we all fell in love with her, thanks to her SAG Award-winning performance on Orange is the New Black. She's gone on to the presses in every medium. She's a Tony Award nominee, and for her work in The Color Purple, she's been nominated for so many awards, they've had to make up new ones. They include a Golden Globe, a BAFTA, 2 SAG Awards, and I'm so excited to say, please welcome Academy Award nominee Danielle Brooks. Unfortunately, we're out of time. No, thank you so much for being here. Again, congratulations on a fantastic performance. I actually imagine that you get that reaction wherever you go. Like you go into Starbucks and it's like,
no, thank God, that's a lot. That would be really weird. No.
Okay, also don't need to imply you're a Starbucks person.
I actually don't drink coffee. I know. You know what I'm saying? Only way I survive is chocolate. Dark chocolate. That's it. So yeah, I'm a tea girl.
I don't like either, but I need the caffeine.
Oh yeah, you need something, right? What do you do?
I'm doing tea right now.
Okay. I love a good ginger shot too, but we're not here to talk about ginger shots.
No, again, whenever I have someone as accomplished as you are, which isn't often, but I'd love to go back to the beginning, and what do you sort of consider your first professional job in the business?
Oh man, I would consider that to be in this world, in Hollywood setting, TV and film, Orange is the New Black. I did a small pilot called Modern Love that was cast by the same casting director, Bernie Telsey. And I did that, and the pilot didn't land, it didn't make it. And that next thing that I did was Orange is the New Black. And I almost didn't take that job because, I'm a Southern girl and I grew up in the church, and my parents' opinion meant everything to me at the time. And so when I first read it, it said that Tasty had to be topless in the shower. I was like, oh my God, I can see my breasts and I can't do that. I can't expose myself and start my career like that. And ended up asking a lot of people that I respected, casting directors and people at Juilliard, and I was like, should I take the job? I was like, girl, I'll take that job. And luckily, I didn't even have to expose my breasts in that way. I found a way around it. So, I'm very glad that I did not turn down Orange is the New Black for that reason.
And I think you hadn't been graduated from Juilliard for very long when that came your way.
It was about a year after graduating, but believe me, I did have a struggle. That 1 year, I was really, really tough because I was auditioning for a lot of things, not getting them as we do as actors, some things you don't get. But for some reason, my struggles were so difficult because there was only one other young woman that was Black in my class at Juilliard. They only accept 18 of us. And she was my roommate. And we would audition for a lot of the same things, but she would book them. So I remember going out for a theater job where we had both auditioned. She ended up getting it, and I did not. And they needed someone to braid her hair, and nobody knew how to braid, and I did, and I got paid $25 every time I braided her hair. So it was definitely some moments of, really having to say, all right, Danielle, what kind of human are you going to be? And I wanted to make sure that I was always supportive of her journey. And that woman, you might not know her yet, but her name is Joaquina Calicango, and she won a Tony 2 years ago. So, yeah, we're both doing all right.
Yeah. You talk about trials. From what I hear, just being at Juilliard is a struggle. They are tough.
Oh yeah, Juilliard was very tough. I'm very glad that I was able to go there, but I started my journey at Juilliard at 17 years old. So I was a baby, and the oldest in my class of 18 was 31 when she entered. So it's a huge range, and so at the same time I'm learning the craft and I'm doing the thing, I'm also like learning what it is to be a woman, and learning my own opinions and what I think, and so it was big, adjustment for me. And also like exiting Juilliard was really hard because Juilliard gives you a toolbox as an actor. You walk away with all these skills and you feel confident in what you do as an artist, but they don't teach you how to audition.
Oh.
So I was really struggling that first year before hitting Orange is the New Black.
And from what I understand, I think people are very open about this. There's a lot of famous people who didn't make it through Juilliard.
Oh yeah.
It's ruthless.
Yeah, oh yeah. There's a lot of amazing artists that don't make it. It's a crazy thing. And I remember like I had auditioned for a Apollo Theater, Apollo. I don't know if y'all know about that in Harlem, right? Okay. When I was a young girl, I auditioned for that 3 times and didn't get it. And the 3rd time I went and walked to the car with my father, who took me to that audition. He was out of encouragement telling me, who was close to tears at the time, he's like, Danielle, it's only 1 in 1,000 people that get opportunities like that. And I remember saying to myself, I got to be one of those 1,000 people, and so I just always had that drive and desire to make it.
Yeah, the joke I've heard is that a lot of people will tell you they attended Juilliard, but very few say they graduated from Juilliard.
Yeah. I mean, it's a road, man. It's not easy for anybody out here. It's definitely not. So I'm very humbled that I've been able to have this career that I've had, and especially being the youngest in my class at Juilliard. That class was so talented, including Corey Hawkins, who played Harpo. We were in the same class. We know each other very well. And there's a lot of talented people that came out of my class. So there's moments I'm just really pinching myself because I'm like, man, am I the first one to get Oscar nominated out of that class?
So Corey's got to catch up.
Maybe
won't be
next
far
year.
behind.
Next
Yeah,
year.
I'm not worried about him.
Me.
I actually do want to go back to the beginning because how did you sort of learn about Juilliard? When did you sort of know you wanted to be an actor and have the flip side?
It's just great to get to share all of these moments, So for me, if you don't know, I grew up in South Carolina, a small town, and I ended up going to this high school because my mother was always looking for arts programs for me to attend. And so I went to this special arts high school where I lived on campus for 2 years. And it was basically like a mini Juilliard. And the way that I found out about Juilliard was because there were 2 black girls that came before me that had gotten in. And that was Tiana Paris, who was in the Marbles not too long ago, and they cloned Tyrone, and that was also Nicole Bahari. And so I saw them, and they were getting into Juilliard. So I was like, I don't know, but Juilliard letting black girls, I got to go. So that's what I did. But so when I was 15, my father, I had won this internship to New York, so we got to go for free. And my father took me to see The Color Purple. So that was my first Broadway show that I had ever saw. And I was like in the theater, bawling my eyes out because a seed was planted in that moment of the reality of I can do this. Like there's people that actually look like me that are at this level on the Great White Way, and they found a way to do this. I want to do this. And so I just took that, high school very seriously. And then ended up attending Juilliard 2 years later. And then 10 years later, cut to 10 years later after seeing The Color Purple at 15 in 2005, my first Broadway show that I starred in is The Color Purple. So when I tell you, y'all, this thing means so much to me, to be able to have found my purpose within this story, and to see women like Felicia P. Fields, who played the original Sophia on Broadway, to see people like Miss Oprah play her in the movie, and to actually get to do that thing, it means so much to me. Yeah.
And I was so lucky because I got to see you live on stage.
Oh wow, yeah.
And so I was like, well, clearly they're going to offer her the movie role.
Oh
That's not
no,
what
that
happened.
is not what happened. I went through 6 months process, a 6-month process of auditioning for this. After garnering a Tony nomination and winning a Grammy with the cast, I still had to audition. You know the one person who did not have to audition? Corey Hawkins. My classmate.
I should point out many people who were in that production aren't in the movie, so it's
Yeah,
really special.
and when I was hearing, when this was coming out and I knew they were casting, I kept hearing they didn't want people from the Broadway shows, which really made me nervous, But for me, it was about moving ego out the way. We all have pride, we're human, and there's this thing where you want to be like, come on, really? I've proven myself at this point. I've been in this industry for a long time, and I've been an easy person to work with. I'm not a diva. I deliver, why are we doing this? But I knew I had to remove ego because this thing was bigger than me. And so I went through the process. I auditioned. I met with Blitz, had like an 1.5-hour conversation with him about the character and what he wanted to do with this. I even wrote him a letter at one point because I was so passionate about playing Sophia, and I had chemistry reads with Corey, put myself on tape to sing No No. And I was just like, y'all, and at the final time, they were like, you got one more meeting with Blitz. And I was in my head, I'm like, I don't know, this is getting a little ridiculous. And that one meeting, they wanted it to be on Zoom. So I get on the Zoom and I'm waiting, and the assistant comes up and he's small talking me on the Zoom. He's like, so how are you doing? How's the process? And I wanted to hit that little button. That button was like mute and black out. I said, I'll come back when you're ready. I was like, no, I'm gonna be gracious. So I kept talking to him, and all of a sudden, boom, Oprah Winfrey pops up on the screen. And she's like, Sophia, it's a pretty name, isn't it? And I just started bawling. And she offered me the job right there. I had met her because of the Broadway revival. She was definitely there in that process. But we did not bond during that time. It wasn't until now that we have formed this beautiful relationship together.
Well, I think, all the actors had such challenging jobs in this movie, but you had a very specific challenge in that you're probably the only person who had the person that originated the role is your boss.
And she's also Oprah Winfrey.
Yes.
Yeah, no pressure. It was a lot of pressure. I think the one thing that actually served in my favor was that I had played Sophia for a year on Broadway, 8 shows a week. And so I could lean on the fact that I knew her in and out. And I could also lean on the fact that this was for me. This moment was ordained for me. And that's how I felt about it. And so, especially when she passed the baton, it just gave me a freedom to do my own thing. And it kind of just let me know that she's on this ride with me and trusted me with this character.
And obviously it's a different medium, so the character is going to be different in some ways, and how you present it. Obviously acting for film is different than acting for stage. What did you find the main differences were?
There's so many differences. First of all, I love studying the character. I love delving into where they move in their body, like Sophia moves in her with her fists, I like thinking about her voice and what instrument that is. It's like a horn. All my life I've had to fight. When she's coming, right? I love just dissecting what color is she. To me, she's brown and because she's grounded and of the earth and just, like soil, there's just that foundation about her that these are the things that I love to do as an actor and to explore. a character. But the difference with Broadway is it truly that production was about imagination, because we did it with just wood stage, no set, no fancy costumes. It was just us in some chairs. And so there was no white mob to help me, with this beating scene. There was no baby, there was no juke joint. You just had to go on the ride with us. And that was so cool because I got to explore her in that way. I got to really internalize those moments that I couldn't really show you. And that was a beautiful thing for me. And I got to explore that for a year. And then now, having all of the elements, actually, shooting in Georgia on a plantation, passing thousands of trees, thinking about the brothers and sisters that were hung on those trees, actually feeling the Georgia sun on my back. I think about, having an actual baby in my hand and caring for that child, and I'm a mother now too, so that lands differently for me. Getting to see the house that, we actually walked up. Y'all saw the movie, like to walk up and the house that Harpo builds for her. It just changes the whole thing for me. And I just love exploring all of the details. I'm a very detail-oriented type of actor because I think it just helps the audience see themselves more in a truthful way when you do that.
And the whole ensemble is so. I'm so happy that they got the SAG Ensemble Award nomination.
Me too.
Because
This cast is crazy. I mean, and it was amazing to work with everyone too.
Yeah, I'm curious because it's such a joyous film, but obviously there's challenging material, and you're shooting in the hot sun, and this can get really unfun really fast.
Oh yeah.
And I know that you have to rely on your co-stars a lot of the time. I mean, what did you sort of do on the days where you struggled?
Oh man, we definitely leaned on each other. I think about the dinner scene and how complex that was for me, and also for a lot of people at that table. But speaking for myself, I had to end up shooting that over the course of 3 days because people kept catching COVID. And so the first day that I did that, I gave it everything I had, and thought we had some really good stuff in the canon. And the only person there at the dinner table was Corey, and everybody else was stand-ins. And so you give it everything you got, and then you let it go. And then they call you back and they say you got to do it again. Okay, I can do it again. I got y'all. I got a little more juice in the tank. But also that juice came from having had a bit more time. We had done like the jail scene by that time, so I was building all of that and bringing that into the space. And so now we only have, I think we added Taraji and Coleman and Corey. And so we still don't have everybody, but they think it's enough to get the scene. We do the whole day shooting that scene, let it go, and they call me maybe like 2 days later, and it's like, Danielle, we gotta do it again. And I was like, now y'all playing with me. I'm not doing it. Like at this point, I'm flexing a little bit, like I'm not doing it. And what, first of all, 2 things. My cast was incredible in carrying me and holding me. And when everybody got to the table finally, just the way they held me up and supported me, especially Coleman. I remember after doing that scene, he said to me, "You got your crown, sis. Today you earned your crown." And that means so much. Because I say that story because I met Coleman when I just graduated Juilliard. And he was doing a Broadway show, and I was struggling, doing all my odd jobs. And I was such a fan of his. I went up to him, told him I had just graduated Juilliard, and I told him, "Man, I don't know if this is gonna happen for me. I don't know, if it's my time and how, this business is hard to navigate. I don't know. And he just encouraged me, this young woman he did not know at the time, to keep going. So for that moment, for him to tell me, like, you have your crown, it meant a lot to me.
And it's coming from colmandomingo.
Where's the tissue? Anybody got a tissue? Somebody got a tissue? Oh my gosh. You sound so sexy.
Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah. You knew you needed this for this movie, didn't you?
It's so true. You prepared. That was smart.
Oh, thank you.
That's actually funny because I remember going to see this movie and realizing I hadn't brought Kleenex.
Oh.
And like knowing in advance, I had to run to the bathroom and gather all the paper towels, and they were out.
Oh,
Because
no.
everyone else had come in and
Oh,
had the paper
he
towels.
definitely opens you up for
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
I need like an IV drip after I was so not just the Hell No number. I just want to dive into that a little bit because it's such an anthem, it's such a celebration. And what was it like to shoot that number surrounded by all these amazingly talented women?
Also, like curvy plus size women too. Like, that was dope to me, that was really cool. Like these hefty women, like myself, being represented. And thank you to Fatima Robinson for making that possible. But Hell No was amazing because when I had done Hell No on Broadway, it really helped me a lot because I had gone through like imposter syndrome when I was doing that Broadway show because all this stuff was coming at me so fast. I got Tony nominated and the Grammy thing, and it was my first Broadway show. And so I was also juggling Orange is the New Black at the same time. And so it was actually through singing Hell No that helped me to say hell no to my fears, to say hell no to this notion that I'm not enough for this moment. Doing that 8 shows a week and living in this powerful, resilient woman helped me through that. And so, when I did it in the movie, I was really just able to own that power, I feel like it's really become like this women's anthem in a way that has been really enjoyable. And I'm trying to think, there was one other thing I wanted to tell you about Hell No. Oh yeah, I remember after singing it and the director said, "That's a wrap on Hell No," I got pretty emotional because I was like, man, I think this really is going to be my last time singing Hell No. That's wild because I've gone through such, this long 20+ year journey with Sophia in some kind of different capacities, this is it. And what I needed from her and learned from her in Hell No, that chapter is over. That is just wild to me. So, yeah.
Well, you say that, but you have a microphone right now.
I already got paid for this. Okay. All my life I've had to fight. I had to fight my daddy. I had to fight my brothers, my cousins, my uncles too. But I never thought I'd have to fight in my own house.
I'm breaking up for 2 reasons. One is because I didn't really think you'd do it, right? The other is that I'm sitting right here. I paid like $1,200 to see you do that. way in the back. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm right here. Worth everything, by the way. So I think like people obviously want to know like, well, what's up next for you? I know you're doing this little independent movie. You're shooting overseas right now. Minecraft.
Oh yeah, this little one. Yeah, yeah, that's really cool. I get to stay in the Warner Brothers family and work with Jason Momoa and Jack Black and Jennifer Coolidge, Kate McKinnon. It's the cast is wild. So it's just like an overflow of blessings, you know, an opportunity to continue to work. I'm really, really, really grateful. And I think for me, it's just really important to really break the box of what Black plus size women are capable of and who we are. You know, that's why I take very different jobs like peacemaker. Thank you. And I try to just really expand that because we're so much more than what we get to do on TV and in film. And if I can do that, then that would be just, if I could make that a part of my legacy, is really showing the world that we can be in different worlds, and it makes sense because the truth is we are in those worlds. That is what I want to do.
Absolutely. And as we said, you know, so much of this film, and it sounds like even on the set, is about women supporting each other. Who are the people, you know, behind the scenes who supported you throughout your career? Like, it was so nice to hear that, like, your parents supported you going into the arts. You usually hear stories about, like, no, you're going to be a doctor.
Oh, my parents were so supportive. You know, my daddy didn't really, he's like, this is cool, but it wasn't until I got into Juilliard, he was like, oh, okay, yes, she is talented. I'll tell you that. He's a funny guy. But it was one person in particular that I've been putting her name into the room because she means so much to me, and she's so worth that and worthy of that, is my godmother. Her name was Annie Edge. She passed away when I was 15, the same year that I discovered and got to see The Color Purple on Broadway. She was my godmother. I asked her to be my godmother when I was about 5 years old. She was an older lady. And I don't know if y'all ever saw that movie Up. Did y'all ever see that? That was basically us. Like, I was a little kid, and she was, I was Russell. I loved, it was Russell. And when she passed away from cancer that year, I didn't know this, but she had put $20,000 in her will for me to attend college. And thank God she did, because unfortunately, you know, my parents, we didn't have the money. And I was not going to be able to attend. Yeah, I got more tissue. Thank God for tissue. But I wasn't going to be able to. And she, you know, helped me with that. So she was definitely somebody who supported and believed in the dream and what I was doing. So I'm grateful for her.
What is it, do you think about, that it's about the story of The Color Purple? I mean, first the book, the movie, the musical, now the movie version of the musical. People just love the story. I couldn't believe when I was looking at this today that the movie came out, the first movie came out in 1985. Yeah, it's for all these years, people have been in love with the story and in love with these characters.
It's because, like, as long as we're living, it's going to be relevant because it's about love, it's about forgiveness, it's about breaking through, it's about being your own hero of your own story. All of those things that we need to survive this world is in this. So it will forever live. Now how, true, right? Oh, I don't know what's going on back there. but yeah, it's always going to be relevant. Now how that will resonate with every generation, it will be different. And I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, in 10 years how people take on to this adoration. And for me, I think, I really hope that it has to do with more healing and like therapy. Like I think we're now in a time where we actually okay with talking about therapy, and specifically in the Black community. So I think I'm hoping that it will allow people to not be ashamed of the trauma and things that they've experienced that, you know, through generations we've been told to hide about ourselves. We can now reveal that and let it go and free ourselves of those things. So I'm excited to see where it goes. It's definitely changed my life.
And I'm revealing your Color Purple journey isn't over. In 10 years, come back and play Shug.
Oh, yeah. That would be fun. Or direct something.
Yes, that's what I want to say. Cool. Well, again, congratulations. It's one of my favorite performances of the year. All the attention is so deserved.
Thank you. And thank you for doing this and being here. Thank you all for that.